Hello, my name is Lilian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. This is the concluding part of my last video. If you've not watched the last video, then I'm going to leave the link in the card so that you guys can go and check it out. In my last video, I shared with you guys how to create a routine for those who have a tight schedule. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create a routine for people that have a little bit more free time, and I'll also be teaching you guys how to create a routine for trimming and styling your hair regardless of how much time you have. So keep on watching if that's something you're interested in. I know I look weird. That's because my hair is like not in order at all. I'm actually wearing like chunky twists. I've not washed my hair in over a week and I've been very busy. So I was actually wearing like an updo before, and then I just took it down because my hair was getting like really dry and getting tangled because it has been in that style for over a week. So I just took it down and put my hair in chunky twists. I have a lot of shea butter in my hair right now. I really need to wash my hair, but I really do not have the time right now. So I just put my hair looks a mess right now, so please bear with me. I'll get back to looking cute in my next video. I just want to quickly record this video because I don't want to keep you guys waiting, as many of you requested that I share the remaining tips to conclude the last video that I shared with you guys. Like I said in my last video, if you wash your hair more frequently, you have the freedom to do whatever you like to an extent. So when it comes to moisturizing, you can use any product you like. You can use like the thick products, you can use the heavy products, and that builds up really fast and things like that. Like, because you're going to be washing your hair frequently, you don't have to worry about like preventing buildup. But that said, your routine of moisturizing and the products you use for moisturizing should work together with your cleanser. So in my last video, I talked about people who wash their hair less frequently, like once a month, should be using something that is like really deep cleansing that will go in there to get rid of all the buildup in their hair. For those that wash their hair frequently, anything from once a week to more than once a week, you want to be using something that is gentle, a cleanser that is gentle. I will not recommend you washing your hair with a shampoo more than once a week. But if you're someone that likes to wash your hair multiple times a week, then you can wash your hair with a shampoo, a moisturizing shampoo, once a week. And then in between wash days, you can do co-washes. By co-washes, I mean washing with a conditioner. You can also do water rinses. That's actually my preferred method. I like to, like, in between wash days, I like to like rinse my hair with water. You can do tea rinses. So basically, in between wash days, you can like rinse your hair with like anything nourishing, or you can just rinse your hair with plain water. You don't have to worry about your hair smelling funky. For people that wash their hair frequently, their hair and scalp is usually clean like most of the time. So if you make sure that your hair gets completely dry within like 24 hours, you're not going to experience any funky smell. So you don't have to worry about not using a shampoo when you wash in between wash days. If you use products that have silicones in them, then I highly recommend that you wash your hair with a sulfate shampoo once a month. So if you use silicones, moisturizing shampoos most times are sulfate free. So without using a sulfate shampoo, you're going to have silicone building up in your hair over time, even though you're washing your hair frequently. So if you wash your hair frequently and you still use products with silicones, then I highly recommend that once a month you wash your hair with a sulfate shampoo. The products you use are basically light products, light leave-in conditioners, light moisturizers, light oils. Then you can basically just stick to using moisturizing shampoos all through your routine. But if you incorporate very thick products like heavy butters and very heavy creams that have a lot of butters in them, then you want to make sure that you wash your hair with a deep cleansing shampoo at least like once a week, or like once every 2 weeks, because you have the ones that are deep cleansing. You do not have sulfates in them, but they are really deep cleansing. They are natural, they are deep cleansing. An example is black soap, and that's what I like to use the most. So if you use thick heavy creams, you want to make sure that from time to time you get rid of all the heavy products and heavy butters in your hair with a deep cleansing shampoo that doesn't necessarily have to be a sulfate shampoo. So for me, I like to use black soap. Black soap can be deep cleansing and can also be moisturizing depending on how you tweak your recipe. My preferred black soap was Dudu Ocean black soap, and its own Dudu Ocean black soap on its own is a deep cleansing shampoo. But if you want it to be more moisturizing, you can add a thick oil or a butter into it. So that was actually how I used to use my black soap like a long time ago. If you've been following me, if you've been watching my videos for a long time, then you know that that's how I used to make my black soap shampoo. So what you do is you melt your Dudu Ocean black soap in hot water. wait for it to melt. As it's melting, you can just add your thick oil or your butter. My preferred is shea butter, just like a teaspoon, or if you want like a tablespoon of shea butter, or a thick oil like castor oil, or like your Jamaican black castor oil. If you like to use black soap and you find out that it's drying to your hair, then you can look into that. But personally, since I use thick heavy butter like shea butter all the time, I use it multiple times a week, so when I'm going to be washing my hair at the end of the week, I usually have a lot of shea butter. So using the black soap, dishwashing black soap as is, helps to get rid of most of the shea butter, but still leaves like a little layer of it in my hair, such that my hair is not like completely stripped and dry. That's why I like to use black soap on its own. And I know that so many of you have sent me messages that you tried using black soap but it dried out your hair, and that's probably because you don't use shea butter in your hair. So the products in your hair are like light oils and things like that, so it's shea butter may be stripping for you, rather black soap may be stripping for you. So if you have that issue, then add a thick butter or a thick oil. The reason why I emphasize using something that is thick is that if you're adding an oil into your shampoo to make it moisturizing, you want to use something that is thick, that will adhere to your hair a little bit even after you rinse out your shampoo. So using light oils like coconut oil, olive oil, adding that to your shampoo is not going to give you the result that you want. Even at the end of the day, when you rinse out your hair is still going to be dry, even though you've added like coconut oil and olive oil into it. I don't know if that makes sense. So you want to use something that is thick, that will adhere to your hair to an extent, so that when you rinse off the shampoo, or in this case black soap, your hair is still going to be like a little bit coated with some of the oil or butter, such that your hair is going to feel like moisturized. So my last video, I talked about the kind of styles to go for if you wash your hair less frequently, for example once a month. So if you're someone that washes your hair frequently, you don't want to be doing styles that people that wash their hair less frequently do. For that, I mentioned in my last video that you should stick to protective styles. For people that wash their hair frequently, you can do protective styles, but just make sure that whatever style you do, whether it's a protective style or it's a style where you're going to be leaving your hair out, make sure that it is a short-term style that doesn't require too much manipulation to install. So what I mean is that instead of doing like mini twists, you can opt for really chunky twists. When it comes to protective styles, generally for people that wash their hair frequently, it's best for you to do styles that are chunky. The chunkier the style, the better for you, because the chunkier the style, the less the less you're going to interact with every single strand of your hair, and the less you interact with every strand of your hair, the less breakage you're potentially going to cause. And that's generally best for you, because you're not going to burn your style for that long, so it's counterproductive for you to do something that takes a lot of time and manipulation only for you to take it down a week later. For example, I would say that sticking with styles like chunky twists, chunky braids, even when you want to do cornrows, stick with chunky cornrows. Wash and goes are like very, very, very good. And that's why if you notice people that have looser curl sections, many of them wear wash and goes a lot, because wash and go, if done correctly, wash and go is like the least manipulative style that you can get. And I find that the reason why people with kinkier, fussy hair find wash and goes to be damaging and a lot of manipulations, because we are trying to pop coils that probably do not exist. Basically what it means by wash and go means clumping of coils that you already have, so that all the excessive shingling and brushing and manipulating just to make your curls pop is really unnecessary. Wash and go is like one of the low manipulation styles, because you're basically just applying products like you would do if you were applying products for twists, just that instead of twisting or braiding, you're just leaving your hair as is to dry. Take some practice basically, and some getting used to what is normal for you, and getting used to and accepting your hair type and your curl pattern for what it is. The first time I did wash and go, I did the most, and it was so tiring and so time consuming. But now, like after doing it for a while, I have mastered how to just accept my hair for what it is, like as fussy. The curls are really tight and tiny, and you're most likely not going to be able to see from a distance. So you really want to re-examine your expectations if your wash and go is requiring too much manipulation. So the next thing I'm going to talk about now is your trimming. Trimming hair is so important. I feel like for creating a hair routine, the three important things you need to consider: moisture, cleansing, trimming. I also forgot to mention, when it comes to moisturizing your hair, deep conditioning is really nice. It's like it helps to keep your hair more manageable and things like that. Basically, you should be deep conditioning your hair every time you wash your hair with a shampoo. So whether it's a moisturizing shampoo, a deep cleansing shampoo, a sulfate shampoo, a clay wash, whatever you're using to wash your hair, you should deep condition your hair every time you do it. But you can do without deep conditioning if you want, but generally your hair is going to be more manageable when you deep condition. The more often you deep condition, the more manageable your hair is going to be. But that does not mean that people that if you do not deep condition, your hair will not grow. It will still grow, but the look of your hair as it grows and the manageability of your hair as it grows is highly dependent on how often you how often you deep condition. What kind of deep conditioner you use, you just have to try out different things to find out what works for you and like what you're looking for. So you should examine your hair. Is your hair limp? If your hair is limp and like lifeless, then you want to be using deep conditioners that have like some protein in them. If your hair is already like stiff and you're trying to get some more flexibility in your hair, then you want to be looking out for deep conditioners that have a lot of moisturizing things in them, like butters, oils, aloe vera, those kind of things that are really rich in moisture, honey, those kind of things that are rich in moisture. So find out deep conditioner that works for you. That works for you basically just has to be you sitting down to examine your hair and trying out a few to see which works best. Many people will say that to find out the deep conditioner that works for you, you should look at your porosity. But from my years of experience and from interacting with many of you, I've seen that many of the rules that apply with porosity don't work for everybody. It may be that many people wrongfully diagnose what their porosity is. It can also be that it's not like a one size fits all. So basically just try out a few and try out a few and try to figure out what works for you. My voice sounds shaky, and that's because I'm hungry. I'm so hungry, but I just want to finish filming this before I go to make something to eat. So if you hear the shakiness in my voice, just know that that's why. How often you trim is highly dependent on the kind of styles you wear, how often you style your hair, and the kind of tools you use in your hair in general. So all things being equal, someone who styles their hair more frequently may have to trim their hair more frequently than someone who doesn't style their hair as frequently. Also, someone who wears their hair more like out, twist out, braid out, wash and go, will have to trim their hair more frequently than someone who basically wears protective styles where their ends are always like covered and not left to rub against surfaces and the elements. Another thing you should bear in mind is that someone who uses tools like combs, brushes, hair extensions that have coarser texture than your own hair texture, and also like heat styling tools like flat irons, will generally have to trim their hair more frequently than someone who doesn't use those tools at all or as frequently. So those are the kind of things that you need to bear in mind when you create a routine for trimming your hair. Ideally, you should trim your hair from anything from every 3 months to every 6 months. But personally, I would say that you should create a routine for trimming every 3 months. I would say, I know you're screaming like, what? If I cut my hair every 3 months, I'll have no hair on my head. And the reason why I say this is that you don't have to like cut your hair or cut like 1 inch or 3 inches of hair every 3 months. Every 3 months, just inspect your hair and cut only what needs to go. That's the routine I use. Before your hair gets so raggedy, before your ends get so raggedy and like unruly, out of place, you most likely trim your hair. So that will help to keep your ends looking healthy all year round. That way you're not going to have to cut as much hair as if you wait longer, and in the long run you're going to be thankful for trimming that often, because you're not going to be having to cut as much as someone who trims like every 6 months or like once a year. My next trim should be next month, so I'm going to try to film that. I have an old trimming video already on my channel, so I'll link it up here. But my next trim is going to be in 3 months. No, sorry. The last time I cut my hair, it wasn't really a trim. I tried to shape it. I did a trim and then I tried to shape it, and that was in about 2 months ago basically. I checked the date before I filmed this video. That was about 2 months ago. I can't remember the exact date. So my next stream is going to be next month, and I'm going to try to film it just to show you guys how I do it, and to show you how tiny the ball of hair I usually cut off is when I trim every 3 months. I basically cut off like the amount of hair I normally lose on wash day, and you guys know that I lose like very minimal amount of hair on the regular wash day. The ball is usually like really small, you know. So that's basically how much hair I cut when I trim every 3 months. So yeah, I think that's all the details you need to know when creating a hair routine. So I hope you guys find these tips helpful, and I hope this inspires you to create a routine that works for you. You don't have to follow routines, someone else's routine. Sit down, figure out things for yourself, and try to create something that works for you. That's become to the end of this video. I'm so glad because the end because now I can finally go and have some food. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video.